For us, the people-centric governance is very important in the Chinese philosophy. And as President Xi Jinping once said, that people are creators of history. They are the fundamental force that determines our party and the country's future. And China has always adhered to the people-centered philosophy in its governance regarding improving the well-being of the people and promoting well-rounded human development as the starting point and the foothold of its development. People-centered philosophy is not a superficial slogan nor a political display, but a principle that is deeply rooted in Chinese history. The classical reference is a phrase in the Book of Documents. The people are the foundation of our country, and only when the people lead a good life can the country thrive, which served as the foundation of Chinese political philosophy for over 2,000 years. And moreover, serving the people wholeheartedly has always been the fundamental purpose of CPC and the key to its success over a century. A recent example is that more than 39 million CPC members fought the outbreak of COVID-19 on the front lines, and nearly 400 members laid down their lives in the process of saving people. People-centered philosophy also serves as a guiding compass in the process of China's all-round development. Despite adverse internal and external conditions posed by the pandemic, China met its poverty alleviation target as scheduled by the end of 2020, with nearly 100 million people having shaken off poverty, winning the largest battle against poverty in human history. China has also put in place the world's largest education system, social security system, and healthcare system. Chinese people's sense of fulfillment, happiness, and security continue to increase. And China not only seeks happiness for the Chinese people, but also seeks progress for mankind. We all know that this year marks the 10th anniversary of President Xi Jinping's proposal for the Belt and Road Initiative. With his profound thoughts on the future and the destiny of mankind, President Xi put forward BRI to promote worldwide win-win cooperation and common development. And BRI, since its launching, has created 420,000 jobs for countries along the route and lifted nearly 40 million people out of poverty. And for Pakistan, this year also marks the 10th anniversary of launching of CPEC, a pilot project of BRI. Over the past decade, CPEC has brought a total of $25.4 billion in direct investment, 155,000 direct job opportunities, and 810 kilometers of expressways, 1,020 megawatts of electricity, and 886 kilometers of core transmission grids to Pakistan, injecting strong momentum into Pakistan's economic and social development. The third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation will be held in a few days, and China will continue to bring more tangible benefits to people both at home and abroad through the win-win cooperation. President Xi once put forward, the destiny of the world must be safe in the hands of the people of all countries. Under the guidance of President Xi, China will continue working hand in hand with the rest of the world to build a community with a shared future for mankind. And make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Her Excellency, for your brief but very comprehensive comments and setting the tune for today's meeting. So I will move forward to our next speaker. She is a very learned professor. She is a professor at the Deputy Dean of Institute for the Community with the Shared Future at Communication University of China. She also served as the director of Africa Communication Research Center at CUC. She won her PhD from Renmin University of China. She also authored multiple books and a number of articles on different subjects. She also has a very good experience of African continent. So Professor Yang, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to have this opportunity to talk with you. And may I share my slides here? But I'm not allowed. Yeah, please allow me to share my slides.
You have been allowed.
Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I'm allowed now.
Now you can?
Yeah, I can now.
Sure, please go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, it's my greatest honor to have this opportunity to share you the concept and also my understandings about the the people-centric governance. Since I'm in China and I'm traveling around the world in 40 countries, so I believe I have a lot of reflection over the the governance and especially the people-centric governance approach in China. Actually, in China, we have a saying. It says, governing a big country is like cooking small fish. I think we are all, cooks sometimes. If you cook a small fish in the kitchen, you cannot turn it over and over again. Actually, you will never get a good shape of the fish. So that is our traditional way. And also Chinese, philosophy to say how to govern a big country or a normal country. I think I would like to take it as the title of my speech. The secret for such kind of a governance, it is like, for a country, you like to run a country, you have to keep the country in a stable way and to keep it a long-term policy and everything put it in order. So this is a sort of Chinese wisdom on state governance and from Chinese traditional culture and philosophy. But actually, China is a quite unique country around the world. So that's why it caused a lot of threat or misunderstanding about the rise of China. There is even a saying that a threat because of the rise of China. And I think one of the reason is there is a very limited understanding about the unique path of China to the modernization. Even it attracts a lot of attentions from both developing countries and developed countries. I'm not going to repeat the fast economic development and achievement made by the CPC in the past decades. But actually, I will argue it is wrong to turn a blind eye to the inherent provision of consultation in Chinese model of governance. But actually, Chinese way of governance is different from the Western, the so-called liberal, democratic system. For the liberal democratic system, the concept is a winner takes all. But Chinese, governance model is a people-centric. It's a people-centric. I think when we talk about Chinese governance, we cannot avoid talking about democracy. Okay, so but as a matter of fact, for decades after World War II, and it seems that the Western democracy was regarded as a key to success of a nation, and it is regarded as the only way to achieve the national, development, and for, it's a role model like, the so-called liberal democracy. And that's why the world has been divided into two camps. One is a democratic, the other is under democratic or even, authoritarian country. But actually, Chinese political system is different from the Western style of a democracy, and democracy even used by some Western countries to weaponize, to isolate, and China. I think that's a big wrong. That's very wrong. So, not only the Western country appreciate democracy, but China also appreciate democracy. But the point is, what is a democracy? Is there only one model of a democracy, or there could be, alternative model of a democracy? So this is something I think we have to make it clear to understand, Chinese, way of, governance. But actually, this 10 characteristics is some, fundamental characteristics for the Western, democracy. It seems like, free and fair election, and independent media, rule of laws, and whatever you mentioned here. But however, that's why even the United States in the past 2 years they hold the Summit for Democracy, okay, and also even they rank the country, that which country is more democratic, which one is less, and they invited those more democratic countries. And as a matter of fact, last year, in the last two democratic democracy summit, Pakistan was also invited, and even Pakistan ranked very low in the state of a democracy according to the American standard. But actually, the Pakistan refused to attend the summit. So from this map, we see the countries were criteriaed by the United States, and with their own standard. But actually, there are a lot of saying. They say why the U.S. Why the U.S. started to talk about the democracy, or to run the Summit for Democracy, because it is used. They want to divide the world against Russia, China, and but actually, they are also saying the Western countries were faced with some crisis for the the so-called liberal democracy. Okay, but however, in China, we also talk about democracy, and democracy is a part of a way for us to talk about our governance. China's we practice the whole process people's democracy, because we believe democracy is not an ornament to be used for decoration. It can only be used, in China, we believe, the democracy should be used for the people's purpose. Okay, so in China, we say the so-called Western democracy is not feasible for China to copy, and we believe, at least as a researcher, I believe such a concept should not be copied by the other countries. Each country, like China, will have to find our own governance and our own approach of a governance and our own approach for democracy. So in China, we say we talk about China's whole process democracy. Okay, but actually, as a matter of fact, China is still a socialist country, and we put the people's interest in the center. I will give you some examples. For example, we say the whole process, people's democracy. We do, inviting people to do the democratic election, but we also have very strong consultation system, and our decision-making, management, and security, a lot of issues in China, which people are highly, people are highly concerned, and people are highly, get engaged. I'm not going to repeat this, but actually, since the 18th National Congress of CPC, you can see how many drafts the laws and submissions has been submitted and we say those proposal has been raised and has been adopted. Okay, so in China we talk about consultative democracy or people-centered democracy. That means we're pulling people's wisdom into our governance. The way is for People's Congress and for the People's Consultation, Congress. I think just now, Ms. Pang has already shared a lot of very important data about the, progress of Chinese, the great success of Chinese governance. But actually, China achieved a lot. One is about the, the poverty eradication, movement, and we say lifted 800 million people out of, extreme poverty. And this is, a miracle around the world, and that the government put, the people in the center for their, governance. And that's why some, researchers argue that too many Western politicians seem to think the point that democracy is a democracy, but it's not. The point of democracy is to serve the people and to deliver better life for them and to improve their economy and society. But in China, when we talk about the governance, we have a lot of examples. For example, you cannot imagine how reasonable the price for our for we use the broadband or Wi-Fi, and because when China think our governance is a people-centric, so they will give ask our telecom companies to reduce the price for the broadband and Wi-Fi service. And because we are people-centric, so we keep a very good balance between the capital and the people. And a very important point is China will never let the capital to be the centric of the economic development and also the governance. They will also make the capital to serve the people. Because I do African media studies, I know how expensive it is in a lot of African countries for people to use, the broadband and the Wi-Fi, and because those key services are privatized. But in China, those kind of key service and key industry will never be privatized, but we just to keep it in the hand of the government, and in that case, we can serve the people. Okay, so the reason why China has been so successful, I think it's a really focus on our, the whole process, people's, democracy, which, involve the people as a host in different ways. Okay, in different ways. I give you one example that how to look at the new, look at the CPC's governance in China. One example is last month I traveled to Xinjiang, Kashgar, and with a group of my students. This picture is the old building and the old residential houses for the Uyghurs there. But they used to live a very shaky houses and buildings and people's life just like this. But but the 40 years ago, like the old town of the Kashgar just like this. But China now spend a lot of investment, give a lot of investment to to rebuild the those houses for the Uyghurs there, and you see those are the new buildings. And those buildings is exactly built on the house of the, the residents or the citizens there. And they co-designed the house. And the government spent, I think, like 50 or 70% of the cost for the people. We private people for them to build the new house. Those are the new buildings, which turned the, Kashgar, the city from a very dangerous city to a very famous city for tourism. So people's lifestyles change a lot. And you can see, since 2010, 70 billion yuan equals to US dollar, this much US dollar has been, used for such, renovation project. And how many people benefit from that? And the picture is taken by me, the two, kids we met and we talked there. So this shows that, the government does, take the grassroots people's, livelihood, their, welfare, and their, living conditions and their poverty issues into the central, the mission of on our governance. So I think now it's time for us to reconsider the Western world and what is a democracy? What is a democracy? And what is a human right? So like Western countries, they put a lot on the human rights, such as gay marriage or, whether, things like that. That is a human rights. So that's why, in some African countries, because the government disagree with some gay marriage, and the British, the UK, withdraw their, donation from the country. Actually, that's Zimbabwe, and withdraw the money from Zimbabwe. Left, thousands of, hundreds of thousands of children. They cannot go to school because they rely on those donations. So, which means one gay marriage couple, they like to promote that, values, but they will leave thousands of students, uneducated. So I don't think that is a democracy. So we have to value what is important in our society. Because in China, then we talk about, the most important thing in China is a people-centric. And now in China, there are a lot of, we talk a lot about e-governance today. So you will see how eager and how hard the local governance at a different level, they use our digital technology, our social media platform to provide the e-governance in China, and which leave that the satisfaction rating in China is like almost 99% of the people, they are satisfied with the governments, with the local governance. So this is what I like to share today.
Thank you.
Actually, a lot of discussion. My key point here is that in order to understanding the people-centric governments, we have to make it clear that China is has been adopting the whole process, democracy, which combine very well together to promote, to put the profit or the interest of people in the center.
Thank you.
There's alternative way to modernization, the alternative way to do the governance, and there's alternative approach for democracy. I think this is, we have to make it clear. China can find our own way to develop. I think Pakistan and the other developing countries can make the same success by finding their own approach. Okay,
thank you, ma'am.
Like
thank you, Dr. Zhang, for your wonderful presentation. Now we have our next speaker, Dr. Akbar Nasir Khan. He is a very diverse personality. We know him, the people know him as Inspector General of Police, but he is very diverse. He is a poet, he is a writer, he has written and produced a film. He has written a book on safe and smart cities. and cultural change in Pakistan. He is a certified trainer from UNOD and UNODC. He worked with the UNDP as a governance advisor. So there are a number of things which I can mention, but due to time shortage, I will go straight to the Dr. Akbar Nasir Khan. So sir, please give your comments.
Thank you, Shakil, and thank you all the panelists and the audience for giving me this opportunity to be here. It's a fascinating talk as started by Her Excellency, and Professor Zhang has rightly mentioned few things which were the key points which I understood, and I really appreciate that the progress and the governance is a long haul. It is not something which you can do short term. We have to do every day. We have to get